The Whole30 journey continues. It's mid-May when I'm recording this, and our journey for Whole30 started on December 28, and I'm feeling more and more confident about this wonderful way of eating and maintaining my lifestyle, and so we're doing a part 2 video. Part 1 video, which I did much earlier, is linked below if you like to see that. And so today I'd like to share with you how our experience with Whole30 is continuing to adapt to our busy lifestyle and how we're still able to maintain it, and perhaps give you some insights and some tips to make it easier and more accessible to you if you are either thinking about embarking on Whole30 or you're already doing it and you're doing round 2 or round 3, whatever the case may be. So I have some notes that I'm going to refer to and share some good tips with you here. So first, I'm going to emphasize again the similar message as my previous video, which I believe was recorded around March time frame. We love Whole30. We just love it. We have found this to be the simplest, easiest, most delicious, most sustainable way to eat, to nourish our bodies, to be able to stay fulfilled, not hungry, and to adapt our lifestyle to it. And we're constantly shocked because at first, when you're starting Whole30, you feel like it is severely limiting, especially if you come from a regular Western diet, which we sort of were, even though my husband and I are relatively healthy eaters. And we find that that seems to not be the case at all. So that's good news, right? Because here is what happens with Whole30. It gets better with time. I guess it's like wine, which is kind of ironic because you can't have wine on Whole30. But that's not really a problem for us. We weren't really into alcohol anyway. The thing that was very difficult for me to give up, but only at the beginning, and I mean only for like maybe 2 or 3 weeks into it and then I forgot about it, was cheese. So I really, really liked my cheese and bread on occasion. But I have to tell you, this is May when I'm recording this. We started this journey on December 28. We did 100 days strictly sticking to it. And then we took a little bit of a break. We were going on a lot of travels. We modified. I want to speak to that experience. And we have been back on it for round 2. So part of the insights I'm going to share is around traveling with Whole30. How do you manage when you travel? Because you're outside of that wonderful warm and cozy kitchen where you prepare all your meals and you feel nice and safe and you can't possibly cheat. It's in your own home. But when you're on the road, when you're in the airport, train stations, traveling to foreign countries or within your own country, it gets a little tricky. So the first thing is that you have to decide, ideally before you go on the trip, are you going to stay with it or are you going to be flexible? And that can get a little dangerous. And so that decision is really the mindset that kind of sets the tone of how things are going to go. If you don't make a decision, you're probably going to lean toward cheating, especially if you're pressured. In fact, I think it's funny because just before I recorded this video, I got a text message from my uncle. So when we took a break from our Whole30, we were traveling I was going to visit my customers and we happened to be visiting my uncle on the way. And today he tells me he started Whole30 after I talked about it. And I am so proud of you, Uncle. And he's loving it. He's just loving it. So I think it's important to make sure you are decisive before you go on these trips. And then manage each situation with delicacy, but also be true to yourself. So for instance, when we were visiting friends, we were able to just, casually tell them that this is what we were doing and just refrain from eating whatever was not going to be, part of Whole30. Now, on this particular time that we visited, we were going to be flexible. So it didn't mean we were eating everything in sight, but we were going to be okay having some rice with Persian meals, that's very common, or having some sweets. And then we would compensate, my husband and I, the next day when we were on our own, on the trip by being back on Whole30. So even when we took a break on our trip, and we were going to be flexible, we decided we're going to do it within limits so that we weren't going to just go crazy. Because your body, as it gets used to a certain clean way of eating, needs to have some warnings before you go off. And so the more slow and gentle you are with that process, which is precisely what Melissa Hartwig of Whole30 talks about when you are coming off or taking a break, then the easier the whole thing can go. So I actually refrained from eating any dairy. And the couple of times where I accidentally had the dairy, I had severe stomach cramps, which is really good information for me because I know that now I have intolerance to dairy. And in fact, it explains some of the intolerances I've had in the past, but I couldn't point to a particular food to which I was having the reactions. I was having no problems at all with eating rice and bread again for that short period, the small exceptions that we made. Now that we're back on Whole30, I don't miss them one bit. And neither does my husband. So I'm not the only data point. You know, we have 2 data points here. So back to the travel tip, right? So let's say you decide you're going to stay on it. Let's do version 1. You need to plan to do that. How are you going to do that? For instance, this weekend, I'm going to Vegas to study with my wonderful yoga teacher. And I'm going to stay on it, and so is he. So we are packing a lot of snacks. And we love those RX bars. In fact, this is my favorite RX bar, the blueberry. And this is a whole meal, or rather a meal replacement. So we're packing some nuts. We know we'll have access to fruit. We are going to pack some bars for emergency, especially on the plane. We're just going to say no to the plane food. And we're going to go to buffet in Vegas, which they have great buffet there. And so we're going to be very careful on the buffet. Now, the exception we're making is in the food that we can eat that is compliant with Whole30, we don't know how they cooked it. So sometimes they tell you the ingredients, but if they don't tell us the specific ingredients on, say, how they cooked the fish or the chicken, we're going to be okay with that because we can't exactly go back and ask the chef what they did. That's a little bit impolite. So there are small exceptions of ingredients that went into the food, but we're not going to have the obvious non-compliant stuff. And that's only on occasions when we're going to go to the buffet. We're probably going to have one major meal a day, and then the rest of it we'll just snack on what we brought. And we did the same thing in February in Vegas, and it was perfectly fine. It was not hard. And here is the thing. It's not hard. And here's the message for your mind. If you tell yourself, Whole30 is hard, or anything really. Starting a business is hard, losing weight is hard. Your mind believes anything you tell it. I did a video on this. I'll link to it below. And so then you've already sabotaged your success yourself without anyone's help. And how can you not do that? How can you just shift from, oh my God, it's so hard. I'm going to miss this. I'm not going to be able to do it. I'm not going to last without such and such food, which is complete rubbish. Of course you are. You're a strong human being. You can survive on just water. So then change the message that you tell yourself. I love this. I tell myself, and it's true. I love Whole30. I enjoy it. I love how energized I feel when I'm eating the Whole30 way. I love how healthy I am. I love that I can sleep so well, that I don't have stomach issues, that I have everything is just as supposed to go. The system is working just fine because your health is your greatest asset. So you're doing yourself such a favor. If you just get your mind on board, this is going to get so much easier. And then you're going to focus on all the great food you can eat. And there's a lot of it. In fact, one of the best things about Whole30 is that you just never go hungry. The only exception I've made, which Melissa may not be extremely on board with, and Melissa is the sort of the voice of Whole30, she's the creator of Whole30, is that I refuse to go hungry. So at midnight, if I'm hungry, I go down to the kitchen and I snack on compliant Whole30, but I snack because I don't like to go hungry. And I'm sure that that's not emotional hunger, psychological hunger, hunger from boredom. It's genuine hunger. It's my stomach growling while I'm laying in bed trying to sleep. So, all right, so now let me refer to my notes. Okay, inspiring yourself, right? Especially if you're going to go on a trip, you're going to get out of your comfort zone, you're going to have to be more careful. Inspire yourself, get your mind on board. And it really helps if someone is coming along with you on this journey. I'm really lucky that my husband is coming along, but if you're alone, get an accountability partner. Get one of your friends to hold you accountable, your parents, your siblings, your peers, somebody who cares about you, and maybe you can help them be accountable for something they're doing in their life. So inspire yourself instead of just feeling all doom and gloom. Oh my God, I'm doing Whole30, I'm gonna die. And that is a recipe for disaster. So take care of your mind first. Feed your mind good food. Okay, the other thing is what to drink. And I'm really excited because my mother-in-law has promised, I'm going to hold you to it, Lynn, that she's going to do Whole30 starting in June. And so one of her questions is, what am I going to drink? Because she has to give up some of her drinks. And so my husband and I drink water, right? But that can get a little boring. So even I need some variety. So there's a sparkling water. There is coconut water, which I dilute with regular water. Extremely hydrating. I also make what one of my clients calls spa water. So I slice up, say, cucumbers and mint, or pineapple, or orange slices, or lemon slices, and I throw it in my giant water container, and I drink that water. I also drink tea, unsweetened tea. You can drink unsweetened coffee. I'm not a coffee person, my husband is. And I hear that over time you forget about the sweeteners and the dairy you put in your coffee. He doesn't even do that anymore because he's just lost the taste buds for it. Coffee itself, good coffee, is delicious for him. So one thing we don't think about is how our taste buds change as we do Whole30 or anything you might be doing. And so that's good news because what's difficult at the beginning is going to be easy. You're not even going to think about it. So there is some ideas for what to drink if you are just bored with regular water or if you just want to, vary it up a little bit. I think I covered everything. I think simplifying. When you're at home, one thing that has really worked for us and one thing that didn't work in the past when we've done other diets, same thing, simplifying. We don't go for complicated recipes. We don't go for these fancy ingredients. We want to make sure the food is delicious, not plain, but also that it is repeatable. It is something that we can put together relatively quickly, and we work together in the kitchen as much as possible. My husband may disagree because he's doing a lot more of the cooking than me, but we try to encourage and inspire each other and think of it as this wonderful adventure instead of something we have to do. As for what, in terms of weight loss, so 6 months in with, this is round 2, but let's say, 100 days in, and then we're back on it. And there was a week there where maybe we weren't eating Whole30. My husband has lost close to 20 pounds. Very consistently, he feels it's a size or a size and a half for him. And this is the stubborn weight that he had trouble losing. So he feels really good. And the weight has come off so gradually as opposed to those drastic diets where they never work, but you drop a lot of weight really quickly. So for me, I think it's no more than 4 or 5 pounds. And it does fluctuate a little bit, but that's more than what I needed to lose. I'm very, very happy with where I am. But that's not what matters. What matters is how you feel on a daily basis. Loving Whole30, 6 months into it, round 2, we plan to continue, and I hope you enjoyed the video, that you feel inspired to take care of yourself, to love your body, to treat your body as the temple that it is, and to know that you can do this. You can do anything you set your mind to. Thank you for watching. I'm Farnoosh Brock, and I will talk to you on the next video. Bye.